Hello and welcome back to the Daily Painkiller with Amy Mbuyu and of course Kamakawa. Kamakawaida, you know how we do it every single time. And today I have very, very beautiful guests in studio who are gonna talk about anxiety, depression, and of course stress, which everyone experiences. So would you kindly introduce yourselves?
Hello, my name is Dejanee. I am a mental health advocate and I am so grateful to be here today to talk about the topic.
Hello, my name is Mwaniki and I am also here to talk about the mental health issues.
Very well. So I'd like us to start with anxiety, depression, and stress. What are these?
Anxiety is when you're I don't want to say anxious because that's like explaining something with the name, but it's when you're just very jittery about something. You're very, I don't know how, Deja, can you help me because I can't find the
word. Anxiety, I would say it's related to stress, but it's not the same as stress. It is an overwhelming feeling of strain, and instead of it reflecting more on your brain, it reflects more on your physical body. So like you can have shaky hands, you feel like the room is getting hot, the room is spinning, you feel like vomiting, your stomach starts turning. It's much more serious than stress can usually be.
So anxiety, generally, as what you've said, I can add it's a feeling of worry, nervousness, or let's say unease, being unease about something, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like you're walking up to a female trying to talk to her, you get anxious. You're like, your hands are shaking, you're breathing heavier,
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. So has any of you ever experienced anxiety?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do currently have anxiety, so it's not the easiest to deal with, and it can happen at any instance. My anxiety could be due to many instances, and it could be my social life, it could be school, it could be family. Either way, I always am anxious majority of the time.
So when you're anxious, how do you get to deal with it?
So what I usually do to relieve my anxiety is that I do a lot of breathing exercises. I also take the time away to draw myself away from whatever is causing my anxiety. So either I go to a secluded room and I calm myself down. I usually talk to someone who is close to me who understands my anxiety extent. So that would usually be my mother or a really close friend that I have expressed my concerns about. And that usually helps me. But then, of course, there's a variety of things that can help a lot of people.
Drugs?
No, not drugs. Worst one.
What about eating healthy foods? Does that really come through? And regular exercises?
I think regular exercises, but that's just like an in the moment. Anxiety is a more in the moment type of thing. It just gets you.
Exactly.
You don't feel it coming.
What about seeing a therapist? Can that really come through for you?
Absolutely.
In fact, now I would advise anyone that's having anxiety to see someone.
And maybe joining a support group that many people who are in the same condition that can really, really help, right?
Help each other and share your experiences with some.
Physical activities, maybe yoga?
Yeah.
Yes, that is a great.
Calming yourself. Finding your center.
What about stress? So would one of you really describe stress and what really stress is?
Stress is an emotional strain.
For me, I will explain stress as an emotional strain resulting from adverse or demanding circumstances. You have your assignments that due in a couple of days. You haven't even started. Now you start getting stressed. You're like, that's the demanding circumstances. But it manifests itself in so many ways. I think Deja can help me out with some of this.
Absolutely. Stress can manifest in many different ways, and sometimes you may not even know that you are under stress. So it can be in terms of what you're eating. Your body could be under stress, or there could be something that's in the back of your mind, and that could ultimately cause a lot of stress on you as well. In different aspects of your life, as well as your social life, if you feel that the people that you're communicating with, your relationships, your family, especially, that could be a stressor of your life.
Yeah, wives.
Why?
Really? I thought wives should calm you down. Like,
I have a feeling you don't want to get married.
No. Just from what I've heard, everyone is always like, Mwaniki,
bibi
my wife.
anakusumbua.
Yeah,
Bibi anasumbua.
yeah,
Bibi-
everyone is.
ati men now complain ati sasa wameenda kukunywa cause bibi amesumbua nyumbani.
Bibi amesumbua.
I think
You
that is
wanna
just an
clear your
that
head
is just
and
an
you have all
excuse.
of this stress that we're talking
That
about.
is just an excuse you guys have, I think. You know? Can't really blame ati wives.
Okay, we're deviating from the topic.
Yeah, we are. So let's just talk about 3 types of stress. Can you please explain the 3 types of stress? Because I understand there's just acute stress, there is episodic acute, and there's chronic stress.
So, in terms of acute stress results from your body's reaction to a new or challenging situation. It's that feeling that you get from approaching a deadline, or when you narrowly avoid being hit by a car, or, anything else. Like, let's say an exam is coming up. That could be also kind of acute stress. Episodic acute stress. So in terms of episodic acute stress, this is when acute stresses happen on a frequent basis. So this can be because of repeatedly tight work deadlines. It can also be because of frequent high stress situations expressed by some professionals, such as healthcare workers. I can only imagine what some healthcare workers have been going through due to COVID and everything that's been happening. Then there's also chronic stress. So chronic stress is a result of the stresses that continue for a long period of time. So an example of this can include living in a high crime neighborhood and constantly fighting with your life partner. So
Why?
So this is stress that accumulates, like they just accumulate and accumulate,
Exactly.
and at the end of the day they just come and merge.
So of course, it feels like it's never ending with chronic stress. We often have difficulty seeing any way to improve or change the situation that has caused our chronic stress.
So we were talking about anxiety, we've talked about stress. What about depression? Because I know many people suffer from depression, especially young people, especially people who are on the age of 18 to, I can say early 20s. Early 20s, most people really are getting affected by depression.
Yeah, when you're just trying to start your life and do what you always wanted to do, and all the stress.
And you realize like the world is something different from whatever you really thought it was, you know?
Hollywood does it. Hollywood does a really good job of deceiving us
In showing you this fairy tale,
and showing us this fairy tale.
this nice
But they
life
took on
after
ground,
school,
it's not the same.
you know? So what exactly is depression for someone who doesn't know what depression is?
Depression is like it's like feeling. It's like when you're sad, and then you get really it's like sadness on steroids. That's how I define depression.
Yes.
It's sadness on steroids.
Absolutely. It's a overwhelming feeling of sadness that doesn't end for a long period of time. And it has a negative effect on your lifestyle. Depression can be due to the fact of trauma that hasn't been resolved, or just daily instances that have caused you to feel like this, like either the relationships that you have in your life, or also your self-perception could also be depleting, also because that could also lead to your depression.
So what can make you know that someone is depressed? What shows that someone is depressed? How can I know I'm depressed as a person?
If I don't know for a person, but for other people, there's usually changes in how they do things. Maybe if someone is it's usually very lively, doesn't want to talk to anyone anymore. They just want to be by themselves in the corner. That could be a telling sign as to whether this person is depressed.
So many people, I think that many people, when they're depressed, many people tend to shy away from other people. They want to be alone. Their mood lowers, like they become sad all of a sudden, you know. Yeah, I just think that depression comes with a lot of someone secludes themselves from everyone else, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's also manic depression, where someone is the exact opposite from what you've said. Someone is usually just like what you describe as a normal behavior. And then now they have random bursts of energy and you don't know where it's coming from. That could also be like a sign of depression.
Absolutely.
So how do you deal with depression? How do you help someone with depression? Or has any one of you been depressed before? And how did you come out of that?
Yes, been depressed before, and it was a difficult time, but I was able to come out of it. I would say one thing that definitely helped me was therapy. Understanding the root of my depression and learning about different coping mechanisms definitely helped me understand how I can better my life situation and how I can better my mental health. There's also a variety of different things, and it also depends on what everyone likes doing instead. So if you like exercising a lot more, communicating with people that you trust a lot more, swimming, running, whatever you need to do, always suggest doing something that you love. Getting back into the roots of things that you used to love can definitely help you bring out of your depression.
So what about bipolar? Like these people who are bipolar, what do we mean by a bipolar person?
Bipolar people switch moods very, very fast. Someone is happy and then the next minute switch. Someone is now trying to rip your head off.
So I read somewhere that bipolar is a mental condition marked by alternating periods of elation and depression. And I think there are several signs of a person who's bipolar. You can tell someone is bipolar because they usually change their emotions. One person can be excited, then all of a sudden they're just sad and rowdy. They can have some huge energy, then all of a sudden they're just dull, overwhelming joy. They just switch up each and every time, right?
Yes, highs and lows. Elation, depression, highs and lows.
Highs and lows. Nice. So how do you even deal with this, with bipolar? Have you ever even experienced someone who's bipolar? Because I had a friend who was dating a bipolar I had a friend who was dating a bipolar girlfriend, and it was really hard because one moment she'd say this, the next moment she'd do this. It was really confusing, you know?
It's tough, especially for the people closest to you, because if someone doesn't know your condition, they just be like,
you're crazy.
Why are you always changing?
Exactly.
You're this way, you're that way, you're this way.
Exactly.
But I think if someone close to you has bipolar depression, just treat them very gently because they're going through stuff.
Yeah, that
Absolutely.
you don't understand. Yeah.
It's always good to be it's always good to treat anyone who has a mental health disorder with kindness, because I don't believe that everybody knows the extent of how a mental health disorder is unless you're experiencing it. So you can sit there and you can say that you understand that your friend has depression, but unless you're also experiencing it as well, you may not be seeing it on the same level. So as well as always be kind, always be open to learning more, because if you learn more, you're also helping them and feeling more comfortable talking about it, and as well as wanting to be more open about it. So, spreading the word helps a lot, because I know many of us have parents who do not like talking about mental health. It can be a very touchy subject.
Yeah. Very, very touchy subject. For most people, especially.
Actually, I think that is one thing that as African kids, it has not been embraced until right now, that parents are really really careful with whatever their kids are going through, because even our parents, basically, like our mothers, they've hidden a lot of things that when you grow up you're like, okay, kumbe my mom was each time you're just seeing your parents and you're seeing them like they're superpowers, but when you grow up and you understand like this is how life is, this is what people go through on a day-to-day basis, and you come and understand like people go through a lot. They hide it, everyone hides it, because mostly parents try to hide it because they want to make you feel okay. They want to make you feel like they're superheroes. But I feel like this time it has been embraced. Like you can tell parents really take a huge role on ensuring their kids are okay mentally. And I think the parents who don't do that yet, I think they don't know how to do it. They don't know that their kids are going through this. Unless their kids, ona ile time yenye mtoto amefukuzwa shule ati, your kid has wamechoma shule. That's when you start saying, hey, kumbe my kid has a problem, Yeah, amefight, amevuta bangi shule, That's when you start to realize, oh, my kid has a problem, So what things would you do to keep yourself mentally healthy, to keep yourself sane, to just have that fresh mind, without stress, depression, anxiety? What would you advise someone?
I would advise someone that if you are going through any of these things, is that definitely writing down things. I tell everybody, any of my friends, I always tell them, write down something. If you have a journal, do some journaling. But if you don't even want to journal, if you don't want to look at the feelings that you're feeling, then you can either just write it down or you can throw it away. So writing down your feelings, as well as always talking does amazing things. Communicating with people, communicating with your family members, the ones that are more open and accepting of your mental health issues.
But imagine a person who's an introvert, someone who doesn't like people, doesn't like being around anyone, just likes being indoors alone.
Yeah, you can read books. You can read books. You can even find like other introverts online and play chess or something. Because now
there's something like that. Introverts online.
Yeah, introverts
who meet up and do something together.
What do you think? Yeah, all introverts are online. They might not post. They might not, but trust me, they're online and they're looking at what you're doing. Just like everyone else.
That's very true.
It's like everyone else.
Yeah. So in short, maybe keeping positive. Sometimes people are a bit negative,
Glass half empty people.
Yeah, you're just negative on everything. But I think it's really wise to try and keep positive. Ata kama things are not really going well, you should just be on that positive note.
Yeah. Try and keep, if even it's not easy to try and keep a positive outlook, maybe just try to see even the little positive things that have come out of every situation.
Yeah.
Someone asked me a question. They were like, what's the most important part of the body? And then someone was like, my mind. But who's telling you that? And I was like,
I think also you can keep pets, Yeah, pets. I think pets are...
Personally,
a dog is a man's best friend.
Absolutely. Personally, myself. I have a dog. So definitely, my dog has been one who has been my emotional support in a lot of all the semesters, in fact. So just having a dog or a cat or a hamster, parrot, whatever.
Whatever you like.
Whatever you like.
Whatever you like.
I also heard that milk reduces stress. Is that true?
I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, they say there's a protein in milk called lactium that helps reduce stress. It reduces blood pressure, actually. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And reduces the cholesterol levels that I just said. Yeah, so maybe a glass of milk before you go to bed.
That would be great.
Yeah, it can keep your stress
try
levels
that,
in check.
Yeah, glass of milk, activity,
Ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream.
Also, consuming less alcohol. Many people drink alcohol at niko stress, but at the end of the day, you should really, really reduce alcohol.
Absolutely.
Yes, I should tell that to all
You
of
should
my
tell
friends.
that
to all of my friends.
And yourself
Stop
too.
consuming alcohol. I haven't consumed alcohol since yesterday.
Oh wow! Oh wow! I was expecting like next month or something. Oh wow!
Since yesterday, and I think I'm gonna go a whole 12 hours. I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah, and also talk to people. Like, I just feel like you shouldn't really die with something alone. Make sure you talk to someone. Let someone be your helper, because you can't really die alone in stress. Talk to someone you trust. You know, you don't have to have a triangle. You don't have to have a circle. Just have one person who you trust and you can talk to. I think we've had a very, very educative discussion today, and I hope it has touched someone outside there. I hope someone has learned something about stress, how to cope with it, depression as well as anxiety, and how to deal with bipolar people. If you have a bipolar friend uko nje, don't start judging them, talking about them, nini. Just try and help them, you know. Be that good friend who helps someone when they're stressed, because you never know. Kesho itakuwa wewe, you'll be stressed and you'll have no one to count on, you know.
Also in public, be kind to everyone, because you don't know where these people are coming from. You don't know what they're dealing with in their lives. So just be kind to everyone. Be respectful to people that are respectful to you.
You never know what someone is going through. Unaweza kuwa tunakutana na mtu outside here and maybe someone, they lost their parents, they did this, they lost their job.
But you can never know.
But you can never know. Yeah, you know what I realize about life also is everyone goes through something. There's no one with a smooth life. Hata ukuwe na pesa inatoshana aje, mashida bado zitakuwa, you know. Everyone goes through something. So yeah, be kind. I think be kind would be our parting shot, you know, our parting shot. Just be kind.
Be kind.
Be kind to everyone. Yes, it was a good discussion, and I hope you learned something from this. I had very, very, very interesting guests with me, and yeah, watawambia where you can get them, where you can reach them on their social media handles. Yeah, I'll let them tell you where you can find them.
So you can find me on Instagram at I'll probably spell it for you guys, at Dejanee, which is DEJANEENYAX. So if you want to send me a message or talk about it, my DMs are always open.
Yeah, my name is Mwaniki. You can find me on... No, I'm not on social media. I'm one of those introverts that the way we're talking about, the ones that look but never post anything. That's me. So I think if you want to get in touch with me, you probably shouldn't.
Okay.
Oh wow. What a way, Mwaniki. You should join social media. I mean, it's a 21st century and you're not on social media.
No,
si hata basi utuachie email. You know, maybe there's someone hapa amesikia sauti akasema, hey, that guy has a nice voice, I'd like to, you know.
Okay.
Now is when you can give
my
us.
My email is mwaniki6478@hotmail.com.
Okay.
Yes, I still use Hotmail. I am one of those people.
Hey, I'm telling you, you should upgrade. You should upgrade by this time. So guys, it was a very, very nice discussion. Hope to catch you next time on The Baddest Show. I was your girl, Amy Mburu. Kamakawa, you know how and where to get me. Amy Mburu on my socials, Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter. See ya.